Hi, I'm Sam, one of the food editors here at Good Food. Today, we're diving into some classic recipes that you can make right in your air fryer. We've got chicken tikka kebabs, the British classic fish and chips, and a great crispy based pizza. This is Air Fryer 101. Our first recipe today is a flavour-packed favourite, chicken tikka kebabs, perfect for a weeknight dinner or a weekend treat. We're going to start by marinating the chicken. I'm going to take some yoghurt and mix in some chicken tikka curry paste. And I'm going to grate in some garlic and ginger. You can also use garlic or ginger paste. Now you can mix this all together to create the marinade. Now that's all combined, I'm going to add the chicken. And now I'm going to mix it all to combine. I've cut the chicken into even-sized pieces, just so that it all cooks at the same time. Now that's done, I'm going to pop it in the fridge for 20 minutes, but you could also leave it overnight if you wanted to get ahead. Right, the chicken's had time to marinate, and now I'm going to get them onto the skewers. What you need to do first is make sure that the skewers will fit into your air fryer basket, so I've had to give these a little trim. You can also just cook them in pieces, which you might need to do in batches. Take the spiky end of your skewer, and then grab a chicken piece, and just gently, making sure you don't put it into your fingers, ease it on, and leave a little bit of a gap just so you can pick them up and pop them in your basket. You can leave a tiny little gap just to allow the hot air to circulate in the air fryer, but don't worry too much. Just pop that on the plate. Right, we've got all the chicken threaded on, so let's get it in the air fryer. Just pop those into your basket. You'll probably need to do this in batches unless you've got a bigger air fryer. I'm going to cook those at 180 for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll turn them halfway through. Second batch is done, so I'm going to get these plated up. These kebabs are looking great. They've got a lovely char on them. I'm serving them with some naan breads, some chopped cucumber, mango chutney, and a minted yoghurt. Next up, we're going to make the British classic fish and chips. Crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and all made in the air fryer. We're going to start by getting the chips ready. So take your potato, and you want to cut that into 1 centimetre thick slices. And then once you've cut one way, and lay the potato down and then cut 1 centimetre thick slices the other. Once you've prepared your chips, notice that they're all roughly the same size so that they cook at the same time. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of oil, and I'm going to season very well with salt. Then you can either toss these or get your hands in to coat everything. And now they're ready, I'm going to get the chips into the air fryer and cook them for about 18 to 22 minutes at 200. Whilst the chips are cooking, I'm going to get the fish ready. Now, if you've got a 2-basket air fryer, 8 minutes before the chips are done, you can add the fish to the second basket. If you've only got 1 basket, then you'll need to keep the chips warm whilst you cook your fish. I'm going to make the coating for the cod. Tip your corn flour into your plate, and to the corn flour, I'm going to add paprika and oregano. Okay. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt and a good crack of black pepper. Once all of that's on your plate, you can give it a good stir, just to combine. Now it's all combined, I'm going to use it to coat the fish. Take one of your fish fillets and just pop it in the flour and give it a good move around to coat it all. And then once that's coated, you can just pop it on another plate. I've dredged the fish in flour. I'm now going to coat it in some vegetable oil, get it into my tray, and then cook it in the air fryer. Give it a bit of a shake just to get any excess oil off. Then I get that into the air fryer for 8 to 10 minutes at 200 degrees, and I'll turn it over about halfway through. The chips are done, let's get them plated up. The fish is looking lovely and crisp, so I'm going to get that onto the plate as well. And there we have our air fryer fish and chips. I'm serving that with some mushy peas and tartar sauce. You can serve this on plates, but I quite like that authentic chippy experience. And for our final recipe, air fryer pizza. You can make a great crispy based pizza in your air fryer. It's easier than you'd think. First thing I'm going to do is make the dough, and that's for the base of the pizza. So you need strong white bread flour. The reason we're using strong white bread flour is that it's higher in gluten, which means that you'll get a nice stretchy dough. And to that, we're going to add a teaspoon of yeast and a pinch of salt. It's really important not to put the salt on top of the yeast, so just pop it into a different section of the bowl. That's just because the salt will stop the yeast from activating. Next thing I'm going to do is make a well in the flour so that I can add my water and also my oil. You're then going to add 200 ml of warm water. Don't want it to be hot and you don't want it to be cold, and that goes into the well. along with a tablespoon of olive oil. And once you've got that all in there, you can mix it together with a wooden spoon. You want to mix this until you've got quite a soft, and it will be quite a wet dough. The dough's ready, so it's now time to knead. Lightly flour your surface. You don't want too much flour, otherwise you're going to end up with more flour than you need in your dough. Let's tip that dough out onto the surface. Now it's time to get our hands dirty and knead. So to knead the dough, just push down with your palm, and then you can bring it closer to you and do it again. Bring it back and then down with your palm. Don't be afraid to get a bit aggressive with it, because you really want to stretch the gluten in the dough. You could also do this in a stand mixer for about 2 to 3 minutes using the dough hook attachment. The dough is looking lovely and soft, so what I'm going to do now is pop it in a bowl, cover it, and leave it to prove for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Make sure to leave it in a warm place. Right, the dough's had time to prove now, so I'm going to uncover it. You can see there that it's risen nicely. I'm then going to do what's called knocking it back, which is just to kind of knead it lightly and gently in the bowl. Then I'm going to roll it out on a floured surface. Let's get this dough onto the floured surface. The next bit will depend on the size of your air fryer. So if you've got a larger one, you can cut it into 2 pieces. I'm using a smaller air fryer, so I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces and then make 4 smaller pizzas. I've taken the base out of my air fryer, and what I'm going to do is cover that with parchment. You could use foil if you like, and then I'm going to use that as a guide so I know how large to roll out my base. So to shape your base, take your rolling pin, you're going to lightly flour it. That's just to stop the dough from sticking. Then I'm going to roll it out into a teardrop shape. That's just because it makes it easier to fit into your baking tray. You could also stretch it out, you don't have to use the rolling pin. It just makes it a bit easier to shape. By moving the dough as you roll, you're just going to get a more even shape. I'm just going to check using the base if I'm on the right track. Looks about right. So get the dough onto your air fry base. Now it's time for the tomato sauce base and also the toppings. But first, I've just preheated my air fryer to 220 degrees. Now for the tomato sauce, it's really simple. I've just fried some garlic and I've added some passata and then cooked it for a little bit just to reduce it and thicken it up. Okay, I'm just going to add enough sauce to create a nice thin layer. I don't want to put too much on, otherwise it's going to be a bit soggy. So I'm leaving a little rim around the edge. There we go. Don't worry if you can see a little bit of the base peeping through the sauce, that's fine. Now time for the toppings. Okay, I'm going to make a pepperoni pizza. So I'm going to add a few slices of pepperoni. And then I'm going to dot some small pieces of mozzarella. I'll be quite generous with that. And then I'm going to tear some basil on. Right, now the pizza's ready to cook. I'm just going to pop that into the air fryer basket. Whilst you're cooking this one, you could prepare the next one. I'm going to pop that into my air fryer for about 10 minutes, but I'm going to check it after about 8. Pizza's cooked, it's looking great, so I'm going to get that onto a board. Pizza's done, the cheese is looking lovely and golden, the base is really crisp, so it's ready to serve. Just look at this feast. There's nothing like enjoying a variety of delicious homemade meals. Making these dishes at home means you get to enjoy fresh, delicious meals anytime you want. If you've enjoyed these recipes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more episodes. Visit goodfood.com or download our app for more tasty recipes.